In this video, we are going to be replacing the lower ball joint in this Honda Fit. And this is something that I couldn't find any other videos on. It is a lot trickier than it is on other cars, I'll be honest. What I found helps me the most is to actually remove the entire lower control arm. And so if you're doing this job, it might just be worth your time to replace the entire lower control arm, because there are bushings in here that you're going to be replacing along with your actual ball joint. So if you want to save yourself some time and also have a little bit more peace of mind, you can replace the entire thing. The way these lower ball joints work is the actual place where the castle nut threads onto is pointing up, which is really weird, but regardless, if you take off this rubber piece, there is a C-clamp that's clipping it into place, and then once you get that, you literally can just hit it with a hammer and punch it out. So I'm going to walk through the steps that I did to get this far in this car, so that if you guys want to be replacing the lower ball joint in your Honda Fit, you can do that. Basically, standard procedure is almost every other car except for that actual ball joint part. So taking off that axle nut, popping out the ball joint with a ball joint separator tool, getting that CV joint removed, and then also removing the actual knuckle right here with these two, I believe, 17mm bolts. And then I prop it up with an engine stand because you want to make sure this thing is supported. You also don't want to tear on your ABS connectors because that would be bad. But basically, I'm going to show clips of all this stuff, and once you do that, then you can drop the actual lower control arm. And once you get that lower control arm out, that's when you get good access to this thing, and that's where you can actually replace this and then just follow the steps to put it all back together. So hope this video helps, and stay tuned. What I did here to give myself good access is I turned the key in the ignition to release the steering lock, got the wheel rotated, so that we've got some good access into here, because it is a little bit difficult to get to. This is your castle nut. It was a 17mm, and in this case, just because of the poor access, I used a wrench and a cheater to get that. And then there's also a cotter pin. You pull up on this little tab right there, and then the cotter pin pulls out. You do that before you loosen it with the wrench. And then now that we've got that free, you can just, I'm going to take this off thriftily by hand. There's going to be a loud pop, by the way, when this thing actually lets go of the hub. What we're going to do with your tool, and if you don't have enough size, you can take out this pin, change the size of it, but this was the right size for me. So you basically take it, and you're going to be putting the little U part up underneath that ball joint, and it should just kind of sit in there. And then this top part, this clamp, it's going to be pressing down on that top bolt of this ball joint, so it should look something like that. And so as you tighten this thing down, the top part of that is going to come and push down on the top of that, and so you just tighten this. I've got a socket that I'll be doing that with, and so basically I can just start this process by doing this. I will get you guys a different angle so you can see this better. Perfect. I got that out. It's really weird. I have the tool from the auto parts store to try to press this thing out, and I was trying to press it up, because I thought that's how it's supposed to go, but clearly I was wrong, because this thing is not budging at all, and you can see plastic deformation now on the actual lower control arm. So I'm going to be replacing this lower control arm now, so that's adding to the cost. But I want to make sure this thing gets done right. I also want to figure out how the hell are you supposed to do this without needing to replace the lower control arm, because, you know, it should be straightforward. I've seen people do this, they just press it in and out. I don't know if this is supposed to get pressed out going down or pressed out going up. So I'm going to just be taking off this lower control arm here. For us to get this lower control arm off, there is a 17mm bolt right here that we're going to be removing. And then there's also three 19mm bolts. There's 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be using an impact gun. And I didn't have a 19mm socket, but I can use a 3/4 inch one that fits right on these guys. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to blast these off with my handy dandy impact gun. And then this thing should come off. Get this control arm off, and then we can actually get at that ball joint that is being a pain in the butt. This is the lower control arm successfully removed. This is what the 17mm bolt looks like. And it threads into that thing right there. And then you've got these three 19mm bolts. And the two longer ones are the ones that they thread up, but they go right in there, and then the shorter one is off to the side right there. So now that I've got this thing out, I'm going to be trying to see what I can do about pushing out this ball joint right here. So I'm going to use a flathead screwdriver and a little pick here to try to see if I can remove the lower ball joint from this thing. And so what I'm doing is I'm sneaking the flathead underneath the little rubber gasket for this thing, and it just pulls right off. There is a snap ring that's hidden right here. I probably need a second pick to get at it. Slip this guy off. So now we've got the snap ring off, and I think this is what messed me up. So you've got to remove this snap ring before you push it through, which I wasn't doing. And now, if I were to hit this with a hammer of some sort, I think you could push it through. The installation will just be the reverse of this, where you push this thing through, slide your snap ring on top, putting on the grommet, and then reinstalling the lower control arm. And you can do this while the thing's on the car too. I just didn't take off that rubber grommet first, and that's what really messed me up here. So yeah, this is my mistake. Hopefully you guys can learn from this. And yeah, so that's how you replace the lower ball joint on these cars. So I will continue working on this, and yeah.